We are thrilled for that.
Hey, Sally.
Hey, what?
You want to turn around once in a while? I know I get your best side, but...
Junk in this trunk that we can't talk about. All right, we also have tie-dye on Monday for anybody who wants to join us. Edna's wearing a beautiful tie-dye today.
Yes, she is.
Wednesday, we have Top Gun here at the Senior Center after lunch. We're going to play Top Gun because next month we're doing Maverick. Some of us got to see it in the movie theater, so that was a good movie. And he looks fabulous, by the way.
Looks good.
Yes, Tom Cruise looked amazing for his age. No shirt. It was awesome. Okay, we have we have the fire department coming Friday the 15th for their quarterly fun thing. Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah.
And we have the golf tournament coming up, guys. That's our biggest fundraiser of the year. We do have a great time there. We don't get to play golf. They don't let me out there. It's really weird. They won't even let me drive the golf carts. I think I have too much energy. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I always want to do that Dukes of Hazzards move. Woo! But they won't let me.
We'll do it after.
Maybe. Maybe. Let's see. Anything else going on? We got Timmy Burke here today. He played our team for so long. And today he's chiefy again.
And he's back.
And he's back for one more round. Let's see. We got Marianne driving the van today because Omer took a vacation. Our boss lady is officially in Europe.
Yeah.
She jumped the ponds.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got going on. Pat the cook is here today. We need some of our lovely volunteers, including the chief secretary. Look at her, she's gloved up and ready to go. She's a helper.
Yay.
All right. Are you guys ready to do a moment of silence?
Sure.
Somebody said never. There we go. Let's do a moment of silence.
I like that.
Good afternoon, everybody. How's lunch so far? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Timmy Burke. I'm the lieutenant with the Uxbridge Police Department. The chief could not be here this week. He's away. So you get stuck with me. I apologize. Just going to bring you up to speed on some of the stuff we're doing at the agency and what's going on around town. I'm sure those of you that are out driving around, you've noticed that Granite and Oak Street got torn up. That was a complete reclaim. They actually went down below the binder, took up some of the dirt, redid the whole surface. So we have a brand new road on Granite and Oak Street, along with some new sidewalks. So the town loop is actually walkable without you have to worry about tripping or anything like that. That project just completed. We have West Hartford Ave torn up. That should hopefully be done in the next week or two. It's scheduled for mid-October to be completed, but they're actually ahead of schedule. So that one's actually moving well. That'll be new. That'll complete that section of road that we've been worried about as well. And then our infamous 2 rotaries are 98% done. They're doing the punch list on it right now. But we fully expect that project will be completed on time, if not early, which is scheduled for mid-October. Other than that, I'm sure some of you that were around yesterday in the Oak Street area may have heard a lot of noise going on. We've been using McCluskey for training evolutions. We ran the entire department 2 weeks ago through the active shooter training that's coming out. So every one of our officers, except for 8, they have to go through the 3rd class, which is coming up, have been certified in it. But McCluskey has been our training ground. It offers us a great opportunity because of the setup of the building, because it's out of the way location. We don't bother anyone too much with our setups and all the noise we make. And of course, we get to work with some outside agencies. We've had Boston K-9, Worcester K-9, the Mass State Police Stop Team have all come down to use the facility, so it's getting a lot of use despite that it's no longer a school. And just yesterday, if you were in the area, you may have seen a couple of Black Hawk helicopters and some others. We had outside agency from the federal government that came out and wanted to show us some stuff and train on the same facility we've been using. So that building's getting a lot of use, and we greatly appreciate that the town has allowed us to do this and move forward and make sure that we're current with everything. Other than that, it's business as usual. Trying to get people to just slow down, watch out for the crosswalks, which I'm sure you guys are all aware of as you're out and about. And then, we're getting ready and already thinking of what we're going to be doing for the winter and precautions we need to take and just getting the roads ready for that and move forward as that goes. We do have a couple of new officers. I'm sure most of you remember Chief Jack Creighton. We were lucky enough to pick up his great nephew, Sean. Sean grew up here in town, went to the Uxbridge school system. I was actually going to drag him in here and introduce you this morning, but he got a call just before we left, so he got lucky today. He's a great kid. I think he's going to do phenomenal for not only the agency, but for the town and for you folks as well. So if you do see him about, he is a relative of Jack. They are pretty close, and I did get to see Jack recently. He came up from his vacation area and retirement home to hang out and check in on us and hang out for a little while. So it was good seeing him. Other than that, I know you guys all know Claudine. She replaced Jean. We actually brought Jean back one day a week, so you may still see her around town, and then I might drag her in to say hi every now and then if I can get her to cooperate. She's still the same Jean, so. Other than that, it's business as usual, as I said, and if you guys got any questions, I got a quick couple of minutes before I turn it over to Susan.
Are they going to pave South Main Street here?
So are they going to pave South Main Street? That is a project that's on the books. The problem is we have to coordinate it with the state, and we're waiting on the state to pick a date to start. They did come out in June, and they were doing a bunch of measurements, and then we never saw them again. So I don't know officially. I'd have to check with DPW director, but I think it's slated for next year because we're running out of time to open any roads this year, and that's a major project. But I think it's next year's project from what I was told.
I understand that maybe what goes on in...
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, it is a project. I've seen all the paperwork on it. I just don't know when their start date is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How about Oak Street, the rest of Oak Street?
From Warsaw Street down, I'm not sure what they've decided on that. I know they were looking at it, but I haven't seen the final one on that. I can check with the DPW director, though.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, well, you guys have a great Friday. Enjoy your lunch and have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to turn this over to Miss Susan Flanagan from Blue Cross.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to present here. Everybody seems so nice, such a nice community. So, I'm really excited. I do work for Blue Cross and Blue Shield, but what I like to say is that the presentation I do today, it's not on Blue Cross and Blue Shield products. What it is it's going to talk about the differences between Medicare Supplement plans versus Medicare Advantage plans. And why it's such a nice time to do this presentation is that we're just entering September, and if you're on a Medicare plan, you're probably aware by the end of September, early October, you usually get your notices of any changes that will happen to your health plan for January 1st. And always encourage people to look at their health plans to see if they're still working for you with those changes. So if you say, I've been on my health plan and I've been very, very happy with it, unless there's something that a health plan is telling you you have to change, that plan just carries over into the new year. But if you've gone through the year and you thought, maybe this plan isn't the right plan for me, or I'm unhappy about this, I always like for people to know that there's two very distinct pathways for you to go down to get your medical coverage. And usually when you're on Medicare, most people are happy with their Medicare plan. So if you're not happy, you might want to just think about, well, what other type of options are available to me? And that's what we'll go through in this presentation. And the other thing is, like, Medicare can be very confusing because there's a lot of terminology. So the term Medicare Supplement, Medicare Advantage, it may mean nothing to you right now, but we're going to go through those details and try to make sense of this. So the presentation really should probably take no more than 30 minutes, but what I like to do is go through the presentation really one subject at a time, and then I'm going to stop and see if you have any questions on that topic. Can everybody hear me okay? Do you want? Okay, great. So we're going to talk about Medicare, Medicare Supplement, Medicare Advantage. We're going to compare those plans. We're going to do some case studies. Then we're going to talk about the prescription drug coverage, things to consider, and where to go for additional help after today. This slide right here is a high-level overview of if you want more coverage than Medicare. So your starting point is always to have Medicare. You need that to have any medical plan. A very oversimplification of Medicare is an 80-20 plan. Medicare covers you 80%, you would pay 20%. Any doctor, any hospital that takes Medicare. So you could stop right there. But if you wanted more coverage than Medicare, then you look to a private insurance company for that coverage. Now, some of you might be lucky. You might have said, well, I worked for the federal government for 20 years, or I worked for the state or the town, and maybe you have coverage through those employer plans. And if you do, you always want to stay on your employee plans. I don't want to say always. There's some circumstances where that may not be true. But for the most part, if you worked for the federal government, you worked for the state, you have this good retiree medical plan that's offered to you. So you typically, if you're going to change your plan, you change within what those companies are offering you for your retiree coverage. Because if you leave them, you're usually giving them up. So you can't get back on. So employer plans, if you're lucky enough to have that, they work a little bit different. You're going to follow the rules of that. But for everybody else, if you didn't, if you say, no, I'm on Medicare, I'm paying for my own type of coverage, these are the pathways that you would take for that additional coverage. Weights and balances. The first type of product that we're going to talk about here today are called Medicare Supplement plans. And these are plans that pick up that 20% where Medicare left off. So if you are on Blue Cross's Medix plan, is anybody on the Medix plan at Blue Cross? Well, you're on a Medicare Supplement plan. So that's the type of plan that you have, picking up that 20% where Medicare left off. But those plans don't cover prescription drug coverage. So if you're going down that pathway, you'd have to buy a separate prescription drug plan. This pathway of the Medicare Supplement Part D, typically the most expensive monthly premium pathway that you're going to go down, but then the least amount of money out of your pocket as you see those doctors or hospitals, because they really don't involve copays. So we'll see that as we go through it. But there's another type of plan that you could take called Medicare Advantage Plans. Those are your Medicare HMOs and PPOs. You've probably seen them on TV a lot, celebrity endorsements. I think it's William Shatner. I don't know who else is out there. But those are those zero premium plans you see advertised. Money towards your glasses, dental, extras, drug coverage. And those plans are typically lower monthly premiums, but you pay some co-payments as you go, and you get some extras along the way. So neither way is ever better than the other. It's just a weights and balance. And sometimes there's a very clear path for people to know which pathway to take. And other times it's kind of a weights and balance, and you're looking at that every year. So that's where we'll go and talk about. But we're going to start with Medicare first, because what we find is if you understand what Medicare covers, everything else makes a little bit more sense. So Medicare A and B. Medicare Part A is premium free if you've paid into the system throughout your working life or your spouse has paid into the system. Under Medicare Part A, that's your hospitalization and your skilled nursing. And so hospitalization, if you only had Medicare and you went into the hospital, you'd be covered for your first 60 days in that hospital after you paid an initial deductible of $1,600. So whether you're there 1 day or 60 days, you would eventually get a bill for that $1,600. If you were there more than 60 days, then this starts to be a daily charge. Also under Part A is the skilled nursing facility. So under Medicare, you do need to be admitted in the hospital 3 days prior, but as long as you have that, and then let's say you need skilled nursing, maybe you broke your hip, you had pneumonia, you're not ready to go home yet. If you went to a skilled nursing facility, Medicare would cover you the first 20 days at 100%, but day 21 through day 100, it would have a daily charge of $200 a day. So that's Medicare Part A. Medicare Part B, that's that one that has the monthly premium. That's $164.90. It comes automatically out of your Social Security check if you're collecting. And Medicare Part B is a lot easier to understand. It has a calendar year deductible each year. This year it's $226. And after you paid that, then Medicare would have covered you at 80% and you would pay 20%. So oversimplification of Medicare, Medicare covers you 80%, you pay 20%. There's a hospital deductible and some cost. You could do that in nothing else. But if you have insurance carrier, you've decided to do more coverage than Medicare. But you always have to continue to pay that Medicare premium. The new premiums are typically announced sometime in October, and then they change every January 1st. Okay. Any questions just on Medicare alone? No. So now what we're going to talk about are the Medicare Supplement plans. And so this is a type of plan that you can add on to Medicare. So if you're on Blue Cross's Medicare Supplement plan, we call it MedX. We confuse it. But in Massachusetts, these plans are regulated by the Division of Insurance, and they're called Supplement Core, Supplement 1A, and Supplement 1, and we'll talk about that on the next page. So no matter what company that you go to, the supplement plans follow standardization for those plans. And each one of those plans is always going to pick up the 20% that Medicare left behind. But depending on the product that you choose, they may pick up different deductibles. When you're on one of these plans, when you go to the doctors or the hospitals, you always show two cards. You show your Medicare card and your health plan card. What happens there is Medicare pays first, and then whatever is left over, let's say it goes back to the doctors, they would say, okay, this person has a supplement plan, they're going to bill the supplement. So Medicare is the primary insurance, and you bought a secondary insurance to simply pick up where Medicare left off. On those supplement plans, you can go to any doctor, any hospital that takes Medicare, no referral. And most doctors take Medicare. So lots of freedom of choice. Medicare pays first, the health plan pays second. The three options in Massachusetts that you have to choose from would be a Supplement Core plan, Supplement 1A, and Supplement 1. So at Blue Cross, we call that Supplement Core Medex Core. The Supplement 1A, we call it Sapphire, and Supplement 1, we call it Medex Bronze. You can go to any company. They're all going to cover the same way because those plans are, again, regulated by the Division of Insurance. Now, the Supplement 1 plan is the easiest plan to understand. Think about that plan starting around $200-something a month. That plan is going to pick up everything that Medicare left behind. So you go to the doctor, you have a Supplement 1 plan, no cost for your doctor, no cost for labs, no cost for hospitalization. Medicare is paying first, the supplement paying second. But you're paying $200-something a month for that coverage. The Supplement 1A plan, a little bit less, $180, $190 a month. It's going to pick up everything that Medicare left behind, minus the Part B deductible each year. And in 2023, that was $226. So you pay your first $226, but after that, every time you go to the doctor, lab, everything's covered. Or the Supplement Core. That works around $120, $115 a month. After you pay that first $226, every time you go to the doctor, lab, everything's covered. But if you go into the hospital on that plan, you're going to pay that hospital deductible of $1,600. So these plans ranging from $100-something to $200-something a month, always picking up the 20% that Medicare left behind. The Supplement 1 plan's really picking up everything Medicare left behind, minus Medicare does not cover prescription drug coverage. So you want to remember, if you're looking at one of these plans, that you would be buying a separate prescription drug plan. So I'm just going to show this slide one more time. Medicare, the $164.90. Then you'd be looking at a supplement plan, $100 to $200. And then if you went that route, you would probably need a separate prescription drug plan, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So most expensive monthly pathway, but no co-payments when you see those doctors. So one way of doing things, and somebody in here might say, that's great, I love these plans, I don't want to ever think about where I'm going to go or if I have to pay, I like that Supplement 1 plan, I'm done. And somebody else might say, well, $200 a month for insurance is a lot of money. I'd rather lower my monthly premium and pay some co-payments along the way. So that's the next pathway we're going to talk about. You never do both. It's always one way or the other. So a Medicare Advantage plan, completely different, never both ways, one or the other. These are the ones on TV, zero premium, money towards your glasses, dental, drug coverage. They're the HMOs and PPOs. When you join one of these plans, you might think, well, how can that be? Is this a scam? How could I have a plan that has a zero premium or a lower premium? How does that happen? Well, what happens is when you join one of these plans, Medicare is going to send the health plan a set amount of money every month for every member on that plan. So we'll get so much money every month. And if your plan had a premium, you would send the premium. Then we would contract with doctors and hospitals. We would give you all of your Medicare covered benefits, plus those additional benefits that Medicare doesn't cover. But in exchange for that, when you go to those doctors or those hospitals, you no longer show your Medicare card. You still have to pay that Medicare premium, but you show your one healthcare card. They bill the health plan. Then we pay the cost out of that pool of funds that we have, and you always pay a co-payment or cost along the way. So the types of Medicare Advantage plans that you could have are HMOs and PPOs. An HMO is a health maintenance organization. When you pick an HMO, you have to have a primary care doctor. and that doctor refers you on for your specialty care. So there's a network. But if you say, well, I like Medicare Advantage plans, but I don't want to have that referral, so I need to stay with a supplement plan, that's not always true, because you could take a Medicare Advantage plan that's a PPO. So on a PPO, you don't need referrals. You can have a network and stay in the contracted providers. Your copayments would be less, but you can go out of that network to any Medicare provider. So PPOs give you a little more flexibility. You don't need referrals. You can stay in and out of network. Just at Blue Cross alone, we have 4 HMOs and 3 PPOs. The other carriers in Massachusetts, they're going to have a similar portfolio. They're going to have a lot of choices for you. So I always say with the Medicare Advantage plans, you want to kind of narrow it down. Do you want an HMO? Do you want a PPO? Do you want to pay a lower premium and just pay some copayments along the way? So there's a lot of choices with them. And one of the nice things here, too, is that there's SHINE counselors serving health information needs of everyone on Medicare. And you can make appointments right here at the Council on Aging, and they'll look at all the plan options with you if you're trying to choose among them. But before I move on, does anyone have any questions so far on Medicare Supplement or Medicare Advantage plans? Nothing? Sure. Sure. Her question is, when I talked about who's getting the money, who's sending it on the Medicare Advantage plan, so how are these plans offered, let's say at 0 premium, or let's say the premium was $50. Well, these plans are going to cost a lot more money to run than $0 or $50. So what happens is, let's say you joined a Blue Cross HMO or PPO plan, Medicare is going to send us money every month that you're on our plan. And if you had, let's say your plan was $50 or whatever the premium would be, and you sent us that, Medicare sending the money to the insurer, you're sending that monthly premium, we pool it together. Now when you go to those doctors or the hospitals, you show your One Healthcare card. Those doctors then bill Blue Cross. We pay the claims out of that pool of funds, but you would always have a small cost along the way, your copayment or whatever the plan that you picked had for that summary of benefits. So, good question. Any other questions? No. All right. So now I'm just going to compare the plans a little bit. So let's say we talked about the supplement plans. Core, Supplement 1A, Supplement 1. Plans ranging in premium from $100 to $200 something a month. No limit network restrictions. Any doctor, any hospital that takes Medicare, no referral. No copayments, really. You're not paying $10, $20 every time you go to the doctor. But they're not adding in that prescription drug coverage, so you'd have to buy a separate prescription drug plan. So somebody might say, well, I'm dealing with chemotherapy, radiation, MRIs. I love paying nothing on these plans for those services and going where I want. Or somebody might say, well, I never go to the doctor, but I don't want to think about bills. So that's kind of how the supplement plans work. Or the other way, the Medicare Advantage, HMOs, PPOs. HMOs definitely have a network. PPO has a network if you want to stay in and pay less copays or cost. Most of them, HMOs and PPOs, include prescription drug coverage and a lot of extras, but you pay some copayments along the way. So just to take a case study, these are just hypothetical examples. These are fake numbers, but just to really illustrate the point. Let's say you have a Supplement 1A plan. That plan would be around $185 a month. And then on that type of plan, a supplement, Medicare's first, supplement second. Let's say on that plan, $185 times 12. That's your yearly premium. Comes out to be about $2,220. But then you go to the doctor, and the doctor charges $500 something. It's the first time that year. That plan has a deductible of $226. So you'd pay your first $226, but then let's say you go to 3 primary care visits, 5 specialists, labs, x-rays. You can see no matter what you do that year, you're not going to pay any more for that cost. So your cost on a supplement plan 1 would be the monthly premium and then that Part B deductible. So it comes out to be about $2,400 something. And that would be true if you had $1 million of services or just that first $226. It doesn't matter. Not going to change. It's predictable cost, whether you have a great year or a bad year. But if you're on one of those HMOs or PPOs, those plans are going to vary depending on what services you need throughout the year. So just on a hypothetical example, you have a Medicare Advantage plan, an HMO or PPO. Let's say the monthly premium was $100 a month. You're going to pay $1,200 in premium, but if you go to the primary care doctor 3 times and the copay is $10, you go to the specialist 5 times, copay is $45. Depending on the numbers and how many times you go and the copays, you could get to that point that we just talked about. But if you say, I never went to the doctor, then you've only paid $1,200 out of your pocket. Or if you took a 0 premium plan, you paid nothing in premium, but maybe you went to the doctor 10 times. And if that doctor copayment was $45, you paid $450 that year. So you can see the Medicare Advantage plans, they're dependent on the monthly premium, but also the medical care that you received that year. So it's just something to think about. And it's also something to keep in mind that every year you can change your plans. So reassess your health, reassess what's important to you, and look at those products. And any questions that you have, you can always come here, make an appointment with Shine, and they will help you with these decisions. Any last questions on Medicare Supplement versus Medicare Advantage? No, bless you. So just the last thing to talk about is the prescription drug coverage. So prescription drug coverage, or Medicare Part D, can be obtained in one of 2 ways. The first way is if you're on a supplement plan, you're typically buying a separate prescription drug plan. If you're on a Medicare Advantage plan, the HMOs or PPOs, the drug coverage is embedded in your plan. You don't go out and buy it on your own. Regardless of how you get prescription drug coverage, they're all going to follow a standard outline of coverage that's set by Medicare. So every year, again, in October, it's really important if you're on a drug plan to check see if any of your medications are changing, if they're going to be covered on your plan. If they are, great. If they're not, again, it's a time that you can change your plans. Prescription drug coverage, there's a wide range of premiums if you're buying it on your own with the supplement plans. They can range from under $10 to up to $100. But a prescription drug plan is not something that you ask your neighbor or friend which is the best plan, because it's really going to depend on the medications that you take. So I'm going to have a resource slide in the back. First, Shine can help you find a good Part D plan if you're on a supplement or Medicare alone. Sometimes your pharmacist, you give them, they'll have your medications, they'll run it in the system. There's a number called Mass Medline where you can call, they'll run the medications. Because at the end of the day, if you're buying a Part D plan, it doesn't matter if that Part D plan is $10, $50. What you want to know is that you're on a Part D plan that covers your medications, and you're paying the least amount of money out of pocket in premium and copays to get those medications. So again, Medicare Supplement plans, separate Part D that you would need, more expensive monthly premiums going down the pathway, but no copayments. Medicare Advantage plans, drug coverage is in those plans, so you can't go out and buy a separate prescription drug plan. So if you're on an HMO or PPO, you want to make sure your medications are covered on your plan. So just some last things to consider. Your budget, always a deciding factor. Your medical usage. Are you seeing only a few doctors, a whole bunch of doctors? Which plan would work best for you? Flexibility. Do you care about referrals? Do you like a PPO? You can go in or out of network, or you want the supplement, any Medicare provider. Those desire for extra benefits. So I say there's a weights and balance. I mean, we always want everything. We want to go wherever we want, have everything covered, and have all of the extras, the money for the glasses, the dental. But there is a weights and balance. So the supplement plans are more any doctor, any hospital, no co-payments, buy a separate drug plan, where those Medicare Advantage plans are really lower monthly premium, pay some co-payments, but you get those extras. So there's a times that you might say, well, it's really important to me for my dental. I want, some plans offer up to $1,000 towards dental. I want the money towards my glasses. And somebody else might say, no, that doesn't even mean anything to me right now. I just want to go wherever I want and know everything's covered. So again, it's those weights and balances. And all you have to do is really assess what's the most important to you. And you can do that every year. And that's coming up October 15th through December 7th for you to make those decisions for a January 1st effective date. So the final review, Medicare Supplement plans, any doctor, any hospital that takes Medicare, no referral, no co-payments, predictable costs, but you're going to buy a separate drug plan, doesn't always add in the extras. Or Medicare Advantage plans, lower monthly premium, HMOs, PPOs, some referrals if you're on an HMO, extra benefits, money towards glasses, money towards dental. After today, some helpful resources, Medicare.gov, Social Security, Shine. The Shine number is up there, but you can make an appointment right here. Gail said, I believe the Shine counselor is here every month, Tuesdays, and starting in October, it will be weekly. They do fill up quickly during open enrollment, so if you want to look at those plans with somebody, I'd say call ahead as soon as possible to make those appointments. If you can't get an appointment or you just want some help choosing a Part D plan, looking at your medications, Mass Medline or the Mass College of Pharmacy, you can call them. You give them your medications. They'll help you pick a Part D plan. They'll help you know if you qualify for any type of assistance programs. We have a wonderful program in Massachusetts called Prescription Advantage. This has a very generous income guideline, no acid tests. So many people qualify. And what it will do is work with whatever health plan that you have to help lower your costs for your prescriptions. And the last number is our Blue Cross number. If you have any questions on your Blue Cross plans or looking at Blue Cross, here's our phone number, our website. We have a lot of educational materials on site. We do webinars. We're out in the community when you want to hear about those products. And that is it. So I couldn't thank you more for the opportunity to come here on this Friday afternoon. Thank you, Gail, so much. Any last questions for me? No, well, I'll be around if you have any personal questions. I also will leave some of these presentations up at the front desk, and there'll be larger print for those that want this presentation. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a great weekend.